You know how some places just have this immediate vibe? When you hear Queenstown, New Zealand, it's almost guaranteed someone's picturing like a wild leap off a bridge with a giant rubber band.
Absolutely. That image is so strong.
But we've got to ask, is that really the whole story?
Yeah.
Is Queenstown purely for, the the adrenaline junkies, or is there something deeper that draws people in?
Hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this, because in this deep dive, we're going to explore the very essence of Queenstown's appeal. We're drawing from a bunch of recent travel blogs and local guides you shared with us.
Yeah, some really good sources.
And our mission isn't just to tick off the bungee jumping, though. We'll definitely get there. It's more about understanding what truly makes this place special.
Right. Beyond the obvious headlines.
Exactly. We'll look at the range of experiences you can have, the must-try local flavors where you might, find a comfortable bed at the end of the day, how to navigate the town and its surroundings, what a trip might realistically cost, the best times to visit, a little glimpse into the local culture, and some important things to keep in mind for your safety.
Sounds comprehensive.
So settle in, because we're about to take a proper dive into Queenstown.
What's fascinating right from the start is how consistently Queenstown is branded now as the adventure capital of the world across pretty much all our sources. It's almost this universal descriptor.
Yeah, it really is.
And that reputation is, well, it's undeniably rooted in its stunning natural canvas. You have to picture this.
Yeah.
The incredibly clear waters of Lake Wakatipu. That's the long, sort of Z-shaped lake that Queenstown sits on.
Right.
Nestled against these absolutely majestic, towering mountains on New Zealand's South Island. That visual alone, it kind of creates an expectation for something extraordinary.
It really does.
But it's crucial, I think, to recognize that while the high-octane activities are a major draw, there's also this quieter rhythm to the town. It's not just about nonstop action. It's equally about just absorbing that breathtaking scenery. And the sources really emphasize its year-round appeal, attracting visitors for both summer adventures and, of course, winter sports.
Absolutely. And you really get a sense of a lively town atmosphere as well. It sounds like the town center acts as a real hub, like a concentration of cafes, restaurants, bars, and shops, all beautifully positioned right along the waterfront.
Very scenic.
Beach Street and Shotover Street are specifically mentioned as go-to spots for unique boutiques and outdoor gear stores, which totally fits with the whole adventure focus.
Makes sense.
And then, of course, there's the legendary Ferg Burger. I mean, the fact that there are consistently long queues.
Yeah.
Well, that tells you something, doesn't it? It's practically a Queenstown ritual.
You pretty much have to try it, sounds like.
Seems so. Plus, it's positioned as this gateway to the Fiordland National Park, which hints at even more spectacular natural wonders just, a relatively short trip away, a few hours drive west, apparently.
Yeah, which opens up even more possibilities.
Right. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's plunge into those experiences and activities.
Right. So when you actually look at Queenstown's adventure menu, the headline acts certainly appear. Bungee jumping is huge. And A.J. Hackett's Cowrow Bridge is rightly celebrated as the world's first commercial site.
The original.
Exactly. And interestingly, even if you're not the one taking the plunge, several sources note that simply watching others do it, well, that's quite a spectacle in itself.
I can imagine.
Then you have the iconic jet boating on the Shotover and Cowrow rivers. KJet is highlighted as a very popular operator right there on the waterfront, famous for those signature high-speed 180-degree spins through the shallow river gorges. Sound like a truly unique experience.
Wow, yeah, those spins look intense.
And beyond these, whitewater rafting and canyon swinging are also mentioned for those seeking, an even greater intensity of thrill.
And for the winter enthusiasts, it's clearly all about hitting the slopes. The Remarkables and Coronet Peak are consistently named as the premier ski fields.
Yeah, the big two.
Now, something I found particularly interesting is that the Remarkables aren't just for winter sports. Apparently, they transform into fantastic hiking destinations in the summer. The Lake Alta Track is mentioned as a well-regarded option.
Oh, that's good to know. Dual purpose.
Right. And Coronet Peak becomes a favorite spot to catch stunning sunset views during the warmer months. It's almost like two distinct experiences depending on the season.
Definitely adds to the year-round appeal we mentioned.
But it's definitely not solely about extreme sports and snow. There's a significant amount on offer for those who love to hike and trek.
Exactly. For people who prefer to keep their feet, firmly on the ground, the Ben Lomond Track is highlighted. It's challenging, definitely, but sounds incredibly rewarding, a full-day hike, maybe 5-6 hours from the gondola.
Okay.
offering those breathtaking 360-degree panoramic views from the summit. And the practical tip to use the Skyline gondola to cut out some of the initial steep climb. That seems like valuable advice.
Yeah, saves the legs a bit at the start.
For sure. Then there's the Queenstown Hill Hike, which sounds more moderate. About 4.8 kilometers, 400-meter elevation gain, but still delivers fantastic vistas of the town, the Remarkables, and the lake.
Still a decent workout, though.
Oh, yeah. And it's useful to know you can start it from the town center, though. As the sources note, this will add to the overall climb.
Right.
And for those seeking something more tranquil, Monk Lake is presented as this really serene escape. Perfect for peaceful reflections, maybe even lakeside camping. Just a short 15-minute drive from Queenstown.
Sounds lovely.
And Bob's Cove, about a 20-minute drive, is another gem for relaxation. Swimming in calm waters, a short walk to a viewpoint. Though some sources do mention the parking can be quite small there.
Good tip.
So it really seems like there's a whole spectrum of options, to suit different fitness levels and what people are looking for.
And we can't overlook the scenic experiences for those who want the views without maybe quite so much physical exertion. Scenic flights are mentioned, obviously. But the Skyline gondola appears to be a must-do for almost every visitor. It gives you those stunning panoramic vistas from Bob's Peak.
Yeah, that seems like a standard recommendation.
And once you're up there, it's not just about the view. You'll find mountain biking trails, opportunities for paragliding, access to more hiking, and the luge.
Ah, yes, the luge.
The Queenstown Luge sounds like an absolute blast, designed to be family-friendly, multiple tracks, you control your own speed. Looks like fun.
Definitely adds another dimension up there.
Plus, the boat cruises on Lake Wakatipu, especially the historic TSS Earnslaw, a coal-fired steamship built way back in 1912. That sounds like a truly charming and unique way to experience the lake.
A bit of history on the water.
Yeah. And the option to combine that with a visit to the Walter Peak High Country Farm for afternoon tea and a sheep shearing demo, that sounds like a fantastic way to spend about 4 hours, according to our sources. Gives you a taste of local farm life.
It truly paints a picture of a remarkably diverse range of activities. It's not just one thing. And then you have the day trip possibilities, which really extend the potential of a Queenstown visit.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about those.
Well, Glen Orkey, a scenic 45-minute drive, sounds like an idyllic spot.
Yeah.
Offers jet boating, canoeing on the Dart River, pleasant waterfront strolls, and it gives you access to the trailhead of the Rootburn track. Apparently, the Rootburn Falls Hut is maybe doable as a day trip destination.
Okay, for the keen hikers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's Arrowtown, the historic gold mining town, just a 20-minute drive away, another excellent option. And the suggestion to take the scenic Arrow River Trail back to Queenstown, maybe via the Kawaro Bungee Bridge and the Gibston Wine Valley,
Yeah.
that's a fantastic idea for a full day out.
Combining history, scenery, and maybe some wine. Sounds good.
Speaking of wine, the Gibson Valley itself is renowned for its wine tasting, particularly its Pinot Noir. Our sources note it's known for distinctive, sort of earthy and fruit-forward characteristics, and it's easy to get to.
Nice. Central Otago Pinot, famous stuff.
Indeed. And then the longer day trips to Wanaka or Milford Sound are mentioned, but with the important point that Milford Sound is a significant journey. An overnight stay in Te Anau or Milford Sound itself is highly recommended for a fuller experience. Don't try to cram it all into one day.
Good advice. It's quite a drive.
It is.
And it's great to hear about the free options, too, like the Queenstown Gardens, right next to the waterfront. Beautiful green spaces, stunning alpine views, lovely lake strolls.
Perfect for a chill afternoon.
Yeah, and even recreational activities like lawn bowling and frisbee golf, perfect for relaxing without spending a dime.
Yeah.
And the Queenstown lakefront itself is highlighted as an excellent spot to watch the sunset, easy walk from town.
Convenience.
With Coronet Peak and Lake Hayes also suggested as peaceful alternatives for sunset viewing, about a 20-minute drive away each.
So plenty of spots to end the day.
So it's clear that whether you're seeking, an adrenaline-fueled adventure or simply want to immerse yourself in stunning scenery at a more leisurely pace, Queenstown has a lot to offer.
Definitely seems that way.
So what does this all mean for our taste buds? Let's talk about the culinary delights that await.
Ah, the food. Well, the scene in Queenstown seems to really emphasize using fresh, locally sourced ingredients. New Zealand lamb dishes and fresh seafood are consistently highlighted as must-tries.
Makes sense given the location.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, Ferg Burger gets mentioned again as an absolute icon, a gourmet burger experience that's become a local institution known for high-quality, local ingredients and unique flavor combos.
Can't escape the Fergburger mention.
It seems not.
Yeah.
Beyond that, seeking out traditional New Zealand lamb preparations and fresh seafood from the nearby coast appears to be a solid plan.
Sounds delicious.
And for those who enjoy a drink, the local Central Otago wines, with that particular emphasis on their exceptional Pinot Noir, are highly recommended.
Right, we touched on that with Gibson Valley.
Exactly. And apparently no visit is complete without indulging in some hokey pokey ice cream.
Hokey pokey, what exactly is that? Vanilla with honeycomb toffee bits.
That's the one. A Kiwi classic. The sources also indicate a wide variety of dining experiences available from casual cafes to elegant fine dining restaurants with lake views, plus lively bars in the town center. So plenty of options to satisfy any craving.
All right, so you've had your adventures. You've maybe indulged in a Fergburger.
Hmm.
Now, where do you rest your head? Let's explore the accommodation options.
Okay, accommodation. Our sources indicate a good spectrum of choices here, catering to various budgets, which is good.
Yeah.
For the more budget-conscious traveler, you've got hostels and backpacker lodges readily available. Average nightly rates seem to range from approximately, say, $30 to $60 NZD.
Pretty standard backpacker prices.
Yeah. Stepping up to the mid-range, you'll find comfortable hotels and apartments, typically priced between maybe $80 and $150 NZD per night.
Okay, more comfort there.
And then for those seeking a more luxurious experience, there are high-end hotels and resorts,
Right.
often boasting those spectacular lake or mountain views, with prices starting around $200 NZD per night and, well, potentially much higher depending on amenities and location.
Right, the sky's the limit sometimes. And it sounds like location plays a pretty significant role in the accommodation experience.
Definitely. Staying right in the heart of the town center offers that unbeatable convenience for accessing attractions, dining, transport. Super easy.
Makes sense.
However, our sources also point out that options slightly outside the center, in areas like maybe Lake Hayes Estate or Frankton, might provide quieter surroundings and potentially even more impressive views.
A trade-off between convenience and tranquility, perhaps.
Exactly. It's also worth noting the availability of campgrounds on the outskirts of town. Some are apparently within walking distance of the central attractions, which is another budget-friendly option.
Good for camper vans, too, I guess.
For sure. And hostels, they often foster that more social environment, which can be great for solo travelers. Apartments offer more privacy and independence, and the luxury resorts often add things like spa services and fine dining experiences.
Lots to consider depending on your style.
Definitely. Now, once you actually arrive in Queenstown, how do you navigate your surroundings?
Good question. Getting around.
The town center itself is consistently described as highly walkable, which is a definite plus. Saves on transport costs right there.
Nice and compact.
Seems so. There's also a local bus network that provides connections to nearby areas. Taxis and ride-hailing services are available too, offering more direct transport, though specific cost estimates weren't really detailed in our sources for those.
Okay, standard options then.
Yeah. But for those looking to explore the wider region with more flexibility, especially hitting places like Fjordland or accessing various hiking trailheads, renting a car or a camper van is strongly recommended.
Right, gives you that freedom.
It really expands your possibilities beyond just the immediate town center.
Okay, so we've covered the activities, the food, the lodging, the transport. Now for the big question.
Yeah.
What's the potential cost? Let's break down a cost analysis, because that's crucial for any trip planning.
Right, the budget. Based on our sources, for a budget-conscious traveler, you could probably expect to spend roughly $80 to $120 NZD per day.
Okay, what does that cover?
That would likely involve staying in hostels or very budget-friendly places, opting for self-catering or eating at cheaper spots, mainly using the local buses, and focusing on free or low-cost activities like hiking, the gardens, the lakefront.
Makes sense. Manageable.
For mid-range travelers seeking a bit more comfort, the daily estimate rises to around $150 to $250 NZD.
And that gets you.
That budget would typically include stays in more comfortable hotels or apartments, a mix of eating out at restaurants, and some budget meals, doing some paid activities like maybe a luge ride or a shorter boat cruise, and occasional taxis or ride-hailing.
A bit more flexibility.
Exactly. And then for the adventure seeker, the one looking to experience some of those higher thrill activities, combined with mid-range accommodation and more frequent restaurant dining, The daily cost could easily reach $300 NZD or more.
Because those big adventures add up.
Oh, yeah. Activities like bungee jumping or jet boating will significantly impact that budget. They aren't cheap.
Those are really helpful ranges to keep in mind when planning. And it's good that our sources offer some practical tips for saving money, like booking activities ahead, using self-catering options, exploring those free hiking trails.
Every little bit helps, right?
Totally. So now that we have a better handle on potential costs, when is the ideal time to actually go and experience all this?
Ah, the best time to visit. It really hinges on your priorities, what you want to do. Summer, which is December to February down there,
Right, opposite season.
offers the warmest weather. Perfect for hiking, water activities on the lake, enjoying that vibrant outdoor scene. However, it's also peak tourist season, so you can expect higher prices for accommodation, activities, and bigger crowds.
The trade-off for good weather.
Pretty much.
Ah,
Autumn, March to May, brings stunning fall colors to the region, milder weather, and the bonus of fewer tourists compared to summer.
sounds appealing. Shoulder season.
Exactly. Winter, June to August, is prime ski season. Reliable snow, breathtaking views of the snow-covered mountains. If skiing or snowboarding is your thing, that's the time.
The classic Queenstown winter image.
Yep. And finally, spring, September to November, sees the return of warmer temperatures, blooming landscapes, and again, fewer crowds than summer. So really, each season has its own unique advantages and maybe some trade-offs.
That's really valuable info for planning. Now, shifting gears slightly, beyond the thrills and the practical stuff, what about the local culture, the people you might meet? What kind of vibe can visitors expect?
Our sources consistently highlight a really strong connection to the natural environment and this deep-seated emphasis on outdoor activities. It's truly woven into the local culture.
Seems like it's just part of life there.
Very much so. New Zealanders, often called Kiwis, are generally characterized as friendly, welcoming, and pretty laid back. They often embody that well-known, no-worries mentality, which reflects a relaxed, easygoing approach to life.
Nice. Sounds very approachable.
Yeah. There's also a significant value placed on environmental conservation, and visitors are generally encouraged to be mindful and respect the natural beauty of the area.
Good reminder for responsible travel.
Jeff?
That sounds like a very welcoming and positive environment. Okay, finally, before we wrap things up, let's briefly touch upon safety and security. Always wise to be prepared.
Sure. Generally speaking, Queenstown is considered a very safe destination for travelers. Pretty low crime rates overall.
That's to know.
However, as with anywhere, really, it's always wise to maintain awareness of your surroundings, particularly maybe later in the evening. Standard precautions.
Right.
For those participating in any of the adventure activities, and this is crucial, choose reputable, well-established operators and strictly follow all their safety guidelines and instructions. Don't cut corners there.
Absolutely. Safety first with that stuff.
Yeah. If you plan on driving, especially outside town, be particularly cautious on those winding mountain roads.
Yeah.
And be aware that winter driving conditions can be challenging. Ice, snow potentially.
Need to be prepared for that.
For sure. A very important reminder, because of New Zealand's location, the UV radiation can be very strong, even on cloudy days. So consistent sun protection hats, sunscreen, sunglasses is essential.
Don't underestimate the Kiwi sun.
Exactly. Lastly, just reinforcing that point about respecting the local environment, practice responsible tourism. Dispose of waste properly, stay on marked trails, that sort of thing.
All good, common sense advice. So, to bring it all together then, Queenstown is clearly deserving of its reputation as the adventure capital.
No doubt about that.
But, as we've explored, it offers such a much richer experience than just the adrenaline stuff.
Yeah.
From its stunning and diverse landscapes, this vibrant, welcoming town center, to a vast array of activities for literally all levels of adventure, delicious local food, a wide range of places to stay, and that friendly local culture. Queenstown truly appears to be a destination with something to captivate pretty much every type of traveler.
Yeah, it really does seem to cover a lot of bases.
Whether you're contemplating that daring bungee jump or simply yearn in to soak in some of the world's most breathtaking scenery at a slower pace.
This leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener. Having taken this deep dive into the heart of Queenstown, what aspect resonates most strongly with you? Is it that undeniable call of adventure? The profound allure of the dramatic scenery? The tempting taste of the local culture? Or maybe something else entirely that has sparked your interest?
And what further exploration of Queenstown might that inspire for your own potential journey? Something to think about.